want to
I
learn. I wish I knew how to.
I wish I knew how to.
I want to know.
Wonder.
Wow, that felt real sexy.
2, 1. And we're live. Welcome back to the Rising Adults. This episode is a little bit different. We have a special guest for you today. Today we're going to be talking about fitness. And I don't think we're qualified. We're not quite qualified to talk about fitness between the two of us. So what would we do? We brought on an Olympian for you guys today. Yes, Dave.
Yes.
Goes by the name of Dave. Trini man, whatever you want. The girl left sugar. The girl left sugar. But Dave, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us what you have for us today.
Yeah, so I pretty much started, when I with sports and etc. I started, in La Brea, Trinidad and Tobago. That's where I was born and bred. Started, with sports, soccer, cricket, like all kind of things I got involved in, and eventually in high school, when I moved to Canada, I started playing basketball, American football, and then I did track and field. But track and field have always been something where I was exceptional over, a lot of people in my my demographics, and I didn't.
He's saying he was the best. That's what he wants to say. He's just been humble.
I well, not best, but how should I put it? I was like a top tier candidate, in my local or my demographic, concerning the sprints more primarily. In Trinidad, I was the top sprinter when I went to Carifta. However, I didn't win Carifta. When I got there, I realized that there's faster guys. There's guys from Antigua and Jamaica. That's where I met a lot of people. But long story short, I moved to Canada and I got more involved in sports. And it turned out that in North America, paying for college is costly. And my coach told me I should really use my skills, use my physical abilities to really, further my education and make the best for myself. And so I was either basketball or track. Unfortunately, I never got a track scholarship. I got a basketball scholarship. Yeah, I was really good at basketball. To be honest with you, I played my freshman year at the University of Illinois. I was a 6-7 man off the bench. But I went to a 5-star basketball camp in Phoenix, and I got recruited there by the assistant coach for the.
Wait, let me just say, I feel a lot better about all the times you bust my ass playing basketball now. I feel way better now. Yeah. Top tier guy.
I don't brag about my credential. A lot of people don't know anything about me. Like some people are like, hey, for example, like I went to Ivy League school, and a lot of people, they brag and say I went to Columbia, blah blah blah, or I went to the Lawrence, blah blah blah.
We would never do something like that.
Exactly. Because those are things that I've
never
done.
went to Columbia.
Oh man.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I play basketball, honestly, I am worse now. I am horrible. Before, I was a really good defender. I was known for my defense, and I was good for facilitating the ball. I was really good at breaking out the defense and getting my teammates really comfortable shots. But if the coach needed me to shoot, when it comes to shooting, because in Canada have great shooters. Canada play European basketball. They're really good shooters. These guys, they'll shoot 3-pointers with their eyes closed, and I learned how to shoot up there very well. And that technique haven't left me. Even when I get rusty, I can still go back and do that, still shooting. However, when I was at Illinois after my freshman year, I played very well, but there's a lot of bureaucracy in basketball, especially in team sports. And I felt that, I was moving towards the peak of my athletic ability, and I wanted to do something more than just, study and etc. I was studying business with a concentration of finance economics at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. And school was never a problem for me. I never studied, but I always got good grades. I never studied until grad school when I went to Columbia. But I left after my freshman year and I started doing track and I took off. Like after my junior year, I turned pro. I signed with Nike and from there I just took off. I did track up to 2016. I went to the Olympics 3 times. I never got into the finals, but I went.
3 times, bro. That's a lot. That's good, man.
That's it, dog. 3 times.
Only
Oh,
three
get
times?
off.
What?
I think we need to find someone more qualified. Bryce, I think we need somebody more qualified. Get him on the call. Get him on the call.
3 times alone now.
Yeah. Well, the reason I call it 3 times is because I qualified for Rio, but I tore my ACL. But I was there twice. I was there for Beijing and London.
Still,
right?
That's still impressive.
But
still
I qualified for Rio, and I went because when you this is how it works. When you qualify for the Olympics, you still got to go to your home country. The country you represent, and got to finish in the top 3 to show that you're fit to go.
Right.
So I went and I tore my ACL at the Olympic trials in Edmonton in Canada.
So you weren't fit.
And I tore my ACL, so that was it.
That's right.
You're going nowhere. And the thing
I might do it.
I was the only triple jumper. No one else was close to what I was jumping. Everybody jumped, concerning meters, I was jumping, 16 meters. Everybody was jumping 14 meters, so there's a big gap. There was no one else to go.
Yeah.
So pretty much from there, I went to grad school, Columbia. I took some, my GMAT, went to Columbia. I studied analytics there. Huge transition in my career. Fitness. I didn't know the reason I decided to go to grad school because I didn't want to be the typical athlete who go into fitness. Although I've worked with world-class, athletic trainers, yoga instructors, any type of athlete, coaches, etc. I work with world-class people, and but I didn't want to, I didn't want to be the norm of athletes after they retire, and that's why I decided to write my GMAT. Wrote it 3 times before I got into Columbia, and I got into the analytics program, and then from there, I graduated. I've been a year out of grad school now, where I'm a senior business data and intelligence analyst. So, and here I am.
Yeah, so
This man does it all. He does it all.
So especially now, I think with quarantine and not just gyms being closed, but people wanting to save money here and there, so it's a real good time for you to tell us what you think about fitness, things we can do, not just fitness, but a healthy lifestyle as well. So I mean, clearly you like you said, you've been with all the professionals for years and years and years. If you went to 3 Olympics, that's 12 years already.
That's clear.
We think about it that way. So yeah, tell us some more about that.
So, first I'll dive in to the specifics of what fitness is. So fitness is, it's an exercise. And what's an exercise? It's a physical activity that, it's planned, it's structured, and it's repetitive. You have to do it over and over again. Picture it like, you studying. The body is a biomechanical, subject, I should say. It's trained over time. Over time, it becomes better. Over time, you do repetitive things, it becomes better. It performs, you get the best out of what your body have to offer you. It's like studying. You have to study over and over again so that your brain, can remember things. Or if you want to become a better dancer, you got to dance. You got to go to practice. You got to do it repetitively so your body can become in tune with that. So that's really what exercise is. What type of exercise exists? Well, there's a couple. There's 3 primarily, and there's aerobic exercises. So that's anything where it's like running, swimming, anything to get your heart rate up. Make you breathe faster or harder to improve your cardiovascular.
Okay, I see. I can think of a few examples.
So that's like John. He was a swimmer.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Swimming and cycling.
Yeah. So aerobic activities or exercises. That is John's forte. He has stamina.
That's right, ladies. Stamina man.
Is it true that cardio and aerobic exercising is bad for men, or that's a myth? Too much.
No. And I will really dive into that more, concerning the benefits of that. Basically, just look at it as this, right? When you exercise, your lungs open up.
Right.
They contract, right? Your heart is a muscle, right? So your heart is going to work faster. And for example, like when we eat and we digest our food, the whatever our body don't use up, for example, like saturated fats and etc., that sticks in our lungs. It's
Right.
there, right? And we need to get rid of that. And what exercise does, it allows the lungs to open up. It allows rapid blood flow, okay, and it helps break down those fatty substances in our body, and it makes the heart stronger, so it can pump oxygen in the body and in the cells, so that your body can perform at maximum capacity. Now think about it like this, like a car, right? The oxygen in a car is the gas.
When you're in.
All right. Okay, so essentially, the more oxygen coming in our body, going to our cells, the heart works better. Our body can perform at maximum capability. For example, you can run 5 blocks without getting tired, okay? Because the cardiovascular system have been strengthened due to the excess amount of oxygen you're putting in the body over time, over repetitive movement, and the heart is stronger. It can pump the blood faster. Your cells is more healthy. They're gonna be able to extract the oxygen and pump out carbon dioxide from your body. So your body's moving. Your body's used to working a lot harder. So over time, that repetitive movement is training the cardiovascular system to become stronger. So it's important. So back to Bryce's question is that it's essential for us to continue exercising, so that as we get older, okay, our breathing we maintain our breathing. We don't have to struggle because our hearts get weaker, our lungs get weaker as we get older. So you maintain a cardiovascular system, you'll be able to breathe better, right? I don't know if you ever passed by an elderly person, they're breathing really heavy, like that.
Yeah.
That's a weak cardiovascular system. So yeah. So we went over aerobic exercises. The next one is strength or plyometric exercises. And this part is personal for me because I'll tell you why. There's this workout called HIIT. Okay. Now what HIIT is, it's a series of circuit workouts that's plyometrics. Now plyometrics was developed in 1960 by the Soviet Union. They invented plyometrics. So Bryce, like those workouts I sent you, like step ups, box jumps, bounding, like single leg bounding, explosive movements. Those are plyometrics. They used to strengthen the smaller muscles and also the bigger ones, but it create dynamic ability, stability and dynamic ability in the body. So you're able to move at explosive rates. Okay, so for example, like a basketball player, they can go straight to the rim. Okay, very explosive, very quick. That's what plyometric does. Yeah, it allows you to get flexible muscle, very quick, very dynamic, very powerful. So you can do things at a very intense rate.
Right.
So this HIIT, whoever invented HIIT, it's the same thing. It's essentially plyometrics. There's no difference. They just took like 6 workouts from plyometrics and make it a circuit and say, okay, this is HIIT. So
it's all about the money, man. You gotta sell it.
Yeah, honestly, and if you look at plyometrics and you look at the Soviet Union and you look at HIIT's workout, you're like, whoa, these are the same thing.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the second workout. It's strength or plyometric exercises. Okay. And then with plyometrics, there's different phases. There's the eccentric phase, right, which is explosive, and that's what I sent you, Bryce. Very eccentric, workouts. That has you have your resting point, but it's very eccentric, very quick, very rapid, because of your body. You have a flexible, you have a lean body, and it's important that you maintain those muscles rather than getting bulky, very slow muscles that uses a lot of oxygen and you can't do much with it. Right. Like you ever seen these buff guys at the gym? Now, yeah, these guys, you get into a boxing match with them, they last like a minute because those muscles use up a lot of oxygen, so they get tired very quick.
It's a tough life.
Okay.
That's why I'm always so tired. I'm not lazy. I'm buff.
The muscles that the bigger muscle are, they use up a lot more oxygen.
Yeah.
That's why athletes is not big and bulky. Even the strong. Have you guys seen the strongman competitions?
Yeah.
Those guys are stronger than bodybuilders, but they're more leaner than bodybuilders.
Right.
So it explains a lot of things like that. And the next type is balancing exercises. So shifting your body at a certain angle, hold it in place, and so it maintains stability. It improves the ability to control your body position. If, for example, you can walk in a straight line without falling over, or you can do balancing workout, for example, like single leg step up. So basically, those smaller muscles that support the larger muscle, you're enhancing those muscles. Okay. And those are very important. These are very important because you're able to maintain proper posture when you're walking or you're running, or you're just doing anything, any mobilities, anything that involves mobility. It allows better balance, better efficiency in the body. So the next one that is very important, which is the last one, the fourth one, I said 3, but it's actually 4. It's flexibility exercises.
Right.
And really, this is to help us, preventing injuries. It makes it lengthens and stretches the muscles, and it makes them more flexible in that way, and also it allows recovery, faster recovery. So not only stretching the muscles to help prevent injuries, but it help it recover faster. Because when you don't stretch, have you ever got like a painful part in a muscle? Like
We
it
were
really
just talking
hurts?
about that yesterday. How important we realize stretching is.
As you get
Yeah.
We were just
older.
talking about that yesterday. Yeah. Especially as you get older.
Not even when you get older, young or old.
Yeah.
But I'll tell
Yeah.
you,
It's just It's that recovery. It really helps with recovery. I think stretching after has become more important than stretching before to me now. Because before it was, if I don't stretch before, I'm afraid I'll pull something or whatever. But it's not even about like not pulling something while I'm playing. It's after I've played, it's getting my muscles relaxed enough that I'm not tight the next day and therefore injuring. It's more of an injury risk thing, a post workout injury risk than a during workout. Or it's more, like you said, it's vital to recovery. That's something that I figured out the hard way after like messing up my knees. But yeah.
So here's the important thing nowadays for like the other rising adults. So you've retired since 2016. You've been to school. You're working full time now, but clearly you're still in good shape.
Yeah.
How can rising adults find a routine that works for them and work it into the important things of our regular daily lives and stuff like that? What are some things that work for you?
So I do research. When I have those, that's a really excellent question. And when there's the wise question, I always do some research to get some understanding as to why the human psyche react the way they do. Because, for example, I've been I did personal training for 4 years, and I stopped, and I got frustrated sometime, but I stopped now because I wanted to focus on more things. Because my current position is a senior business data and intelligence analyst, so that requires a lot of focus. At the beginning of your career, you got to learn a lot of things. But long story short, is that they used to find the most qualified excuse for not coming to work out. Yet, on average, people spend 8 hours a day on their phone on average.
That's true.
On average, yeah, and that's on average in, not in the U.S. In the U.S., that's more. By state, it's more. Yeah. In the world, that average gets higher. People would find all excuse for not working out, but they want to find excuse for wasting time. Eating spending time to walk 10 blocks. Or go out for 3 hours to eat the wrong food, or sit on social media, for a couple hours. There'll be no excuses to prevent them from doing that. So, an accident, a research done by Daniel Lieberman. He's a biologist, and in one of his 2015 papers, it's called "Is Exercise Really Medicine?" An evolutionary perspective, and he hit certain points, and he's like,
Research.
yeah, and he believed that it's our natural it's our natural not to be physically lazy. And he look at things like, for example, before society transformed the way it transformed, like hunters and gatherers. If they found many ways to not exert too much energy, right? They set up traps. They use bow and arrows that moves faster than them. Over time, because remember, like before, like the Indians used to use axe, throw axe, and do a lot of stuff, and then they invented the bow and arrow and etc. So over time, we create things that allow us
Not
to
lazy,
not
I'm
work hard.
smart. That's what it is. I know it's something. Yeah.
But it's our instinct. Our instinct is to always save
Yeah.
energy, and it's not about like, it's not about being well,
makes
it is
sense.
about being smart, but it allows us. It allowed evolution.
No, that makes so much sense that you put it that way. It makes complete sense to me. It's like it's unnatural if you're out in the wild. You wouldn't, and you have to fend for yourself. You have to save energy. You have to hunt. You have to gather. You have to do all these things that are imperative to your survival. There's no switch in your head that says after you reach a certain age or after because as a juvenile there's incentive to play and stuff like that to develop your motor skills and muscles and stuff. That's a natural instinct as well. But once you've developed past a certain point, there's no evolutionary advantage to going and doing pull-ups on a tree, wasting your energy,
Exactly.
and doing all that kind of stuff. So it makes perfect sense that we would develop to only use it when we need to, like for
Only
a
when you
hunt
need
or,
to.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
And I found that paper was very interesting. Because he even talked about the Amazons, like how they set up a lot of traps and etc. So they don't have to exert energy to hunt. They set up like 30 traps every day, and then, and they go twice a day to check those traps, or if they catch something, set it up back again. However, a professor at Oregon University, he's a psychosocial and social cultural. That's his specialty. Some psychosocial and socio-cultural aspects. That's what he really focused on of health and physical activity. His name is Bradley Cardinal. Sorry, Bradley Cardinal. He's a professor at Oregon University, and his focus is really, as I said, on psychosocial and socio-cultural aspects in society, in reference of health and physical activity. And he did a 2013 study that and he found that people who had negative activity when they were younger, concerning being the last one to be on a team because they're not because they're not physically they're not physically capable. For example, I remember when I was younger, when I started to play basketball in Canada, I was the last one, and so his study said that okay, these people over time they become. When he did a study, it turned out that they were the least athletic when they were younger, and for that reason, when they got older, they were less prone to take part in exercise activities. And also he said that in society there's no.
So if that's not sponsored, you have to hide that. we only do sponsored products on this channel here. Audience, please Rising Adults forget you so that don't ever go out and buy that. They don't sponsor us. Please continue.
Well, there's another aspect. But this is his hypothesis, right? There's another aspect of that. He's like saying there's no need at a cultural level to integrate exercise or physical activity into our daily routine, right? And he believed that if people, if this is done, if it's done, physical activity is done, it's in our routine in the workplace, or in school at all levels, you have to dedicate 30 minutes to physical activity. At work,
Right.
they have you dedicate 30 minutes to physical activity. They believe if it become a societal norm, that people will be more inclined to working out or exercising. And I believe Bradley. I believe both studies actually. I believe both studies from Daniel and Bradley, because yes, we're naturally lazy. We don't want to exert too much energy than we have to, and also that our past set up our future. For example, I am an athlete, and that's because ever since I was young, I've been exercising, I've been doing all these workouts, and it's
Keeping
fun.
active. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to me, I can get up at 5 o'clock, go out for a run. But for example, to my girlfriend, you know, Stephanie, that's very hard for her. For example, my past clients, it was very hard for them. I used to have to go to some of their house and get them out of bed
Wow.
because they're not made up that way. They're not conditioned that way.
Right.
And there's a
Oh, we lost Dave. Dave, we lost you.
Oh, he's back.
But yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really the reason why working out is so hard.
Right.
Nah, your video is frozen.
You
Might
guys
want
have
to.
any questions
might
for
want
that, or
to-
you guys want me to continue, or?
You.
I was just saying you might want to pause your video and like restart it. It's just frozen right now. In your explaining motion. But no, but Julian, I think that's one of the things we're identifying as well is we're talking about how as kids we used to go to morning practice. We used to have 10 practices a week. 10 practices a week.
Right.
I think only Wednesday and Sunday mornings we had off. And every day, Monday to Saturday, training afternoons as well. So that it didn't feel like it wasn't a question of am I going to be waking up at 4:30 this morning to go and swim. It was just like, yes, just as regular as a normal person wakes up, brushes their teeth. You have certain activities that you don't ask yourself, am I going to do this? Am I going to shower today? Am I going to brush my teeth today? It's not a question of that. It's just like you were saying, a matter of routine. So it becomes habitual. So I don't feel like it's difficult for me to get up and go do something. But I think that now that he's putting it that way, it makes a lot more sense that, yeah, we've been conditioned. We've been training since we were, 7, 8 years old with a goal in mind. So I think I'll take it.
And I think
Yeah.
that's why it's important to, find stuff that works for your specific goals. Maybe
Right.
your goals might not be to like have 0% body fat, right? Or like a very low body fat percentage. Maybe it might just be to feel good on the morning or to get you out of
Right.
bed. So like you say, if you're doing stuff like, if you just want to work out just to jumpstart your day, why should you be doing like pull-ups and stuff like that or any hard exercises? That won't be appealing to you. You wouldn't want
Right.
to do that. Why would you want to do that? So I think that's important for that too. Dave,
All right.
you're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, sorry.
It's back.
You good?
That's all good. That's part of it. That's part of the experience.
So man, you want to continue, or?
Yeah. We were just we were just talking about how kind of tailoring instead of like figuring out what your fitness goals are so we were saying like as athletes we had a routine that's kind of built in for us since we're young, so we never have to think about
Got it.
incorporating exercise. But also, now that I think about it, another benefit of being an athlete first, you're never working out. I never had to think, I want to work out because I wasn't swimming because I wanted my shoulders to be broad, or I wanted to have a six-pack, or I wanted to be XYZ percent body fat. That was never the goal in swimming. The goal in swimming, I want to be faster than the person next to me. And it's progression. So you could see your time. It's much easier to see your time go from a 25.46 to a 25.440 even though it's a 0.06%, I mean, second improvement, that's a small improvement to anyone else. But as a athlete, a swimmer, you know that's a huge deal. Like you drop your personal best by a small amount, and I think that allowed
six
you
tenths of a second.
right.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But I think it's a healthier way of going about exercising, looking for progression, and that's naturally instilled in athletes as compared to I want a six pack, because you're not gonna notice the equivalent of a 0.06 second drop. You're not gonna notice that in your body
Yes.
when you look in the mirror. So it's gonna be like, why am I exercising? So what do you think about the way, going off of that? How would you recommend structuring your exercise goals? Moving away from body image or size related, weight even related goals, and what do you recommend as alternatives to that?
I always say, for a lot of people, if you don't have a history of exercising frequently, don't look at it as a short-term goal. Look at it as a long-term goal, and don't look for concerning that. Don't look for immediate progressions, but have fun.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I became an athlete, because I loved what I did. I had fun with it, and because I had fun with it, I wanted to be better. The goal of exercising is to become more healthier. You want to have more energy. You want to be able to do things more effectively. So stop looking for that six pack or that big chest. Have fun with it. Make it social. Try a sport, first of all. Don't just go in the gym if you haven't worked out before. Try a sport. Try like a Zumba, like not a Zumba class, but a dodgeball, volleyball, basketball, handball, and then because those sports, you're working out. You're doing aerobic exercises.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're doing plyometric exercises. Every time you do a layup for basketball, that's a bound. You're doing a jump.
Yeah.
You're gonna have fun, and then going to the gym would be a breeze, because your body is used to you enabling the endorphins, and endorphins is pretty much that adrenaline, that hormone that's get released when the body reaches peak. And it's called there's this thing called an athlete's high. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, when I work out, I want to feel like that burn, like that sensation, like And for example, like Bryce, you know what? For example, John, I sent Bryce some workout, and he sent me pictures, and he's like, feel good, and that's the endorphins, and the endorphins triggers your personality, triggers your behavior. You're happy, and you feel good, you feel relaxed. Like this, that's being relaxed. That's just your body hit its peak, and that those hormones just make you feel good about yourself. And I think first and foremost, make it social, and then after we make it social, and we have fun with it. Then try doing it yourself. Pick a right time, a right day. Set a reminder for for your workouts, and start small. Like do one workout. If it's just core, just go out there, stretch, do core, and then leave.
Right.
You understand? You're doing something, and then build up over time.
So just be active.
Just be active. If you don't feel like working out, going to the gym, go play handball, go play basketball, go play volleyball. Get your heart rate up. And to make it pleasurable. And I always say, get cool gears, make it a fashion statement, have fun with it.
No, that's true. Sometimes you have a new tank top or something. You're like, I can't wait to go to the gym today. You have some new,
right?
Just to mix it up. I mean, whatever motivation helps you, right? I mean, this is America. Consumerism reigns. You have to. Might as well, when it helps, you might as well partake. When it's for the better, so
that is true. That is facts right there. Yeah.
All right, so Dave, we have a little fun round for you. It's basically either or. We call it pick your poison. So John and I are both going to ask you, either one or two questions. We'll see, and you just have to pick which one. So I'll go first. So, do you rather have a chisel body, but you hate working out. Like every time you work out, it's like a stress for you to do it, or you rather just have like not so chiseled body, but in decent shape, but you genuinely enjoy working out. Which one you prefer?
He's somebody I enjoy working out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know I work out, and as John said, he had at one point, and I always talk about this. You can't tell an athlete versus a person who just go to the gym to work out, because you want to find an athlete in front of the mirror showing their six pack.
Right.
You find a guy who was probably out of shape, and you find a guy into shape, and he's proud of his accomplishment. That everybody have a different driver. Everybody have a different driver, and my driver as an athlete, like I never asked for a six pack or chest or arms. I never asked for that. I got my arms from boxing and my abs from boxing. I used to box.
Sports you.
You understand?
Yeah.
So
He's basically saying don't fuck around.
Yeah, I mean, boxing was my short career. It lasted a year and a half. It was my freshman year in high school, and I used to get picked on because my English wasn't too well. It wasn't so good, and people used to make fun of me. I speak a lot of patois, and and this is when I was in Canada. It was very difficult, and I had to read a lot and write a lot to really work on my English. And a lot of people can understand me. They used to make fun of me, and I used to get vexed. And sometimes a kid would come in my face, and as a kid, you just like and and that was it was I was young, and I was building up to go for Golden Gloves eventually, and you consider a weapon. Your arm's considered a weapon. And the kid went home and complained after he's been bullying me for years, because I beat him up. Went home and cried to his mom, and his mom came to the school, and he said that his friend said I did boxing and all kind of stuff, and it was surprising. I was a victim, then he flipped the script on me.
Yeah.
So I had to quit boxing.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, back to my answer is that I do it for love of just love of doing it. I love to work out. I'm not the guy who will go to the gym for like 3-4 hours. No, I work out 3-4 times a week for like 30-40 minutes, probably an hour sometimes, depending on what it is. And yeah, I feel because it makes me feel good. I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel whole, and that's why I do it. I don't care about the chisel stuff, but you will get the chisel stuff if you do that.
It'll come out.
Yeah, it'll come out. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Enjoy that.
Yeah, so let's spin off on that. If you had the option to be able to go back to competing, right, athletics, if you could start today, but you wouldn't be able to stop competing until you were 50. You'd have to compete until you're 50, but you get to compete again. Would you take that, or would you never compete again? Or you could never compete again? Have to compete until you're 50, or never be able to compete again? Which one would you take? Yeah, we have to put you on the spot.
It's hard because as an athlete, it's very hard to I want a family. You understand? I mean, I'm 35, so I want a family, and I want to do other things in my life. I don't want to be one-dimensional. But the thing is, like, I was actually, actually suffered depression for a bit when I retired. I tore my ACL, and I lost everything. I didn't lose everything, but I felt like I lost. Yeah. That was my identity, and it's really tough. It's really tough. I did a couple sessions of counseling and stuff like that because that was my life. I spent 6 months of the year in Europe competing. All the way from England, France, Italy, Germany. I go compete, and I come back to the States. I train, and it's one of the best time of your life as a professional athlete. Like, you see everybody, you do everything, and life is like all I do what I love, and I get a heck of a lot of money for it. So, but the thing is, as an athlete, it's very hard to save money because unless you have endorsements, your salary, by the time at the end of the year, your salary doesn't really account for a lot of stuff because you're being taxed. Like, for example, I used to compete in Birmingham in England, and I get taxed over there, and their tax is steep. And then I come to the United States, and I have to pay royalty taxes, federal and state tax, on top of that money. So by the time I pay my coaches and my trainers or whatever, I'm left with like probably like $3,000.
Yeah.
So so that being said, you get paid to do what you love, and there's nothing more beautiful than that. But to answer your question, John, is that you know, I think it's a situation analysis, and I think that if I would have eventually retired, but definitely before 50, I think I would have. If I was still doing track right now, I probably would have retired after this year. To be honest with you.
Right. You don't want to be like Tom Brady and play until whenever.
You know, you know, the thing is, like, a lot of people don't have something to bounce back to.
Right.
Because, you know, what is Tom Brady going to do after he retires? Go on ESPN and be an anchor and be competing with people? Like, it's very competitive to be a sports analyst, you know? Like, he doesn't want to do that. It's like pretty much started from rock bottom, right? And he's on top of his game.
You could just
And he can just do nothing.
Enjoy his money.
But when you that's the thing about it though, when you've been that driven for that long with a focus, every year you have a single focus,
Yeah.
and you're doing everything towards that goal every single year. When that, like they were saying, like when he tore his ACL, that's something that's completely life changing, and it's kind of like going towards the light voluntarily, you know, figuring out when it's time to retire. And what do you do after? Like, I hope he has a plan. I'm sure like somebody in his position has had a lot of time to think about what he wants to do after, but I'm glad, like, for example, like for you, Dave, you have all these, like, you have your other things. You have so many other things going on that you were able to find passion elsewhere. So now fitness is still a part of your lifestyle, obviously, but it's not, it's not your life is fitness. Fitness is a part of your life now. So
Exactly.
I think for me, I've found that this quarantine has been a good reset for me because I had gone away from taking fitness as seriously as I did maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. Just because, you know, it's relaxed. When you get relaxed and it's like you settle into, I'll play basketball once a week and I'll eat whatever I want. And especially for someone like me who, it does, like we were talking about the physical appearance part, but like for someone like me, if I don't work out, if I don't do too much, I'm not the type that gets I'm not gonna be like 250 pounds or something. If anything, I might just get skinny. So I think because of that, because it was not like such a downside, like, you know, might notice like one day, oh wow, my belly is like hanging. Let me go back to the gym. I didn't have that push, so it's kind of had to come from. You know what? I want to feel good. I want to be able to jump and dunk and put somebody on a poster like before. Like that's like a little action.
Like before what?
Which. Hold on. Alright, just because you say that, look out for our dunk mixtape coming by the end of summer. I challenge the two of y'all. Go for y'all. I challenge y'all to a little. Yeah, y'all talking. Yeah.
Bryce, can you dunk? Can you dunk, Bryce? You should be able to. You're tall enough. You're tall enough. Okay. I used to be able to do it very effectively, man. But you know, my knee, my ACL,
that's
and
fair.
then
That's fair.
There's nobody.
Nah, you were talking. So Julien was talking shit. So between the two of us, we have dunk off at the end of summer.
You know, and I have Achilles tendonitis in both of my feet. So when I jump, when I play basketball, they get swollen when I play basketball. Yeah, man. So you know, I have bulging disc in my neck from football. You know, I got blindside hits. So, you know, bulging disc in my neck, you know, torn ACL, Achilles tendonitis in both feet. I mean, I'm a wreck from sports, man.
Wow. That's the thing about it. You can't like really have sports without injury, but you still, it's like, you don't even, it's not even like a downside. It's like, you know, I just tore my ankle is just hanging by a thread, you know, my back's on a side. But I love sports. I can't wait to go back and play basketball. I don't know. It's kind of a mental illness. But
well, you see, the thing is, and that's the reason why I have to that's why a lot of athletes who sustain injuries, they have to keep on working out because
Yeah.
you have these injuries and you have to keep your muscle strong, or these injuries is gonna be a problem.
Dave, I'm sure you've been listening. You've been listening to our conversations. I have to. Please go and remove your keylog or whatever it is, whatever listening device you installed on our phones. Please delete it because you're talking about the same things.
By the way, we have 5 minutes, eh?
Okay.
Okay.
So guys, I'm just gonna go through some benefits about to work out. I'm just gonna list a couple. I have 18 of them. I'm gonna list them for you guys.
Okay.
And also, I'm gonna send you guys. I'm gonna send you guys this report as well, for your own use. But we went over that fitness or exercise and helps aerobic power. And and one thing is that every year as you get older, every year, and I believe it starts from the age of age of 30 or before that, but that is what some research said. But some research said every year we lose 1% of our aerobic power. Basically, our ability to breathe effectively, we lose 1% of that every year. So exercising does help maintain that. And the stronger you build it up, the less likely for it to reduce at a much slower rate. It reduces blood pressure. Exercising reduce blood pressure. So chronic hyperextension, which is one of the main causes of heart disease. Exercise, and as I said before, concerning plaque in our lungs, like exercise attack the plaque in our arteries and our lungs. It widens them, make the heart muscle stronger, blood flows more freely, and basically your blood pressure would drop when blood flows freely. When it is difficult for your blood to go through your arteries, run through your arteries and your cells and your heart, your blood pressure goes up. That's like clogged arteries. Clogged arteries means high blood pressure. Okay, so think about pressure as in the water stopping in the middle of the hose and all that pressure building up. You understand? So think about blood pressure like that. The higher it is, it's more dangerous if you can rupture an artery and get a brain aneurysm or something. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't want to have. That's why you don't want to have high blood pressure. You don't want to have clogged arteries.
That's like an episode of Scared Straight. Now I have to go into some push-ups there now, guys.
So type 2 diabetes have been a big thing. It's been increasing drastically. I just look at the rate by the Census Bureau, and it's been like in the United States, it's been like 25% or 28% increase in type 2 diabetes concerning the population density, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So exercising help, engaging in exercising help reduce that. It's strengthening metabolism to fight these diseases. Certain type of, many type of unique diseases. Exercising help, strengthening metabolism to fight off those things. For example, look at the coronavirus instance, right? It attacked elderly people because they have a weaker metabolism, right? And not all older people. It's those people. And there's a skew to that data because it's people in general who's unfit, who got, the COVID-19 affected the most. Yeah. So exercising help reduce that as well. Obviously reduce body fat and keep your bones strong. Friction from strengthening workouts concerning lifting weights. That friction makes your bones stronger, okay, over time. So stronger bones. John, build muscle mass. You want pectorals? It helps with that. and I went over breathing. It improves your breathing and improves your energy. I went over that. And the risk of arthritis. Risk of arthritis. But you got to be careful. You can't do the wrong exercises. The wrong exercises will give you arthritis. You understand? Lifting too heavy, too much pressure on your joints, working out with the wrong shoes, and doing exercise on a hard surface, right, in comparison to a soft surface, will increase arthritis. Okay, it improves your sex life, guys. So you wouldn't need Viagra.
What's that?
So basically, so I really had to research how it improves the sex life because so basically it says increasing the muscle mass will encourage the endocrine glands, right, which produce hormones. Endocrine glands that produce hormones. Okay, so if that is stronger, the more healthy the endocrine gland is, endocrine glands, the more healthier they are, the more hormones they produce.
Right.
Okay, and more testosterone. What does that mean, guys?
Well, I mean,
Bigger
ask.
muscles?
That too. So so basically, those hormones stimulates the androgens, right? And androgens is what really facilitating emotional resilience. When it comes to sexual capacity, it gets you in tune quicker. For a woman,
Oh no.
Now,
yeah. So with that within itself, the importance of exercising. So for example, you meet some people who have low sex drive. Low sex drive mean that they're unhealthy. It does, some people, there's some unique circumstances where someone was abused and stuff like that when they're younger, blah blah blah. But that's just, that is also a case. But exercising help, boost your sexual energy, and you sleep better because when you expend all that energy during the day, you come home, you're able to maintain a proper sleep schedule. But it's not really good to work out before you go to sleep. It's not really good, to be honest with you. Because your body, adrenaline permits you from sleeping, so you don't want to boost adrenaline before you go to bed, right? It improves the mood, as I said before. Like, we feel better. For example, like Bryce, when his his endorphins kick in, he was like, "Yeah, Dave, yeah," show his muscles. You're more happier. Lowers anxiety, makes you more relaxed. For example, if you're stressed about something, you go and work out, and it just switch your mindset into something else. And then, when you go back to that that issue, you have a different outlook. You're more calmer, and you take it from a different approach. And it feels like fun, and it reduces absenteeism, and that means that you reduce you're not always calling out of work because you're sick. You're healthy, so you're always at work. There's no need for you to call out sick. And the one thing that is really good, and especially for us men, is that it lowers that dementia risk. Okay, so, and I will tell you why. Okay, because I wrote it down. Okay, because I believe it's very important. So basically it says, so dementia is based on a cardiovascular illness, right? In many ways, there's many different types, but primarily in men as well, it's based on cardiovascular illness. And improving the blood flow through your body, which also includes your brain, you're basically preserving the neurons in your brain, right? You're preserving the neurons. You are strengthening them, and it gives you an added advantage for stuff like dementia or Alzheimer's, etc. Because those neurons are always functioning. They're strong. They're always functioning. And if you look at it this way, for example, I move my finger, right? Before I move my finger, the neurons sends a message in my body, send a message to my brain, okay, to facilitate my nerves to move my finger, and then my finger moves, right? When those neurons don't move, okay, for example, if John is like, "Hey Dave, how are you doing?" Right? I might look at him, I'm like, "Who is John?" Because in my memory, my neurons is not working to send a message to my brain to say that is John. Right? So us maintaining our neurons in our body, it will always work, facilitate the way it should, even at old age. And that's why it's very important. Does that make sense? Or you guys okay.
I mean, yeah, it goes together. Just just in general, improve bodily function, and like you said, your system working as best as it could, right? So
yes,
all that ties in together.
Yeah, and one more thing, I'll just fly by, type of unhealthy ingredients, stuff that we should be aware of is soybeans, canola oil. Be aware of those things. Processed meats, be aware of those things. Fiberless fruits, be aware of those, like grapes and stuff like that. Too much of that is not good because a lot of fruits has fructose, which is which is like, I think I believe it's triple sugar.
Mm.
Fructose is triple sugar. I believe, John, you're the chemist. Well,
Yo, whoa, don't call me out like that. Don't call me out like
no,
that.
because
It's a
I know,
chemical engineer.
Yo, I'm a material scientist now. I don't deal with that. I'm a material scientist now.
because I know glucose is double sugar,
Yeah.
I believe. So yeah. So just be aware of those sugary contents on charred food like grilled food. Be aware of that because it says the petroclite, yeah. So it's basic, and I wrote that down too. So it's called HCA, which is heterocyclic amines, right? It's basically developed when creatine sugars, amino acid in the meat react to the grill, high temperatures, right? So that actually increases the risk of pancreatic cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colorectal.
Yeah.
So too much grilled foods when it comes to red meat is not good because of HCAs. So be wary of that.
Yo, Dave, I asking you to commit now. I think we should do we can do a full breakdown of like diet tips at some point in the future for your next appearance.
Part 2.
Part 2, because there's so much to do. There's so much more to talk about.
Look,
But
we have to keep on learning every day, especially when it comes to our body. We have to respect our body. We can't just, like, for example, from my perspective, and this is not to represent the whole population because my perspective is very small, right? I see a lot of people always treat their body like garbage, like eating all this junk and just like putting their body and just dump it there and drinking or smoking.
okay, hold on. Okay, this is enough. Wow.
I drink too. So drinking socially is okay, but drinking 4, 5, 6 times a week, that's a lot. I can understand a glass of wine, or you go out, once in a while with your friends, whatever, have some drinks, whatever. That's understandable. But some people drink consistently every day. Eating fast food every day, eating processed food every day, and those things are not good. So we gotta be aware of the things we put in our body, because what we put in our body is what our body will look like. You put dirty gas in a car, the car is gonna run like dirty gas.
Yeah.
You don't study for a test, you're gonna fail, right? That's the outcome, that's the consequences. So look at it that way. Yeah, guys, but that's what I have today. You guys have any questions, let me know. Or we could definitely do a part 2. I'm not a dietitian, but I can give you guys some ideas of things that I eat so I can maintain a healthy diet.
I think what's important for like our perspective for the show and everything too is that we want actual opinions of, like, not necessarily a professional opinion is great, but what is someone who is eating properly, trying to eat properly, how do they fit in that in with budget, their lifestyle and stuff like that? And I think that's really what we want to get at. So I think you, again, perfectly qualified for that. So
and I'll just highlight that. I mean, you gotta, as I said before, you gotta set up proper. For me, who's already in tune with exercise, and I can set schedule and I can maintain consistency, set a schedule, an alarm, and etc. to maintain that consistency. For people who's not physically active, don't have a history of being like that, just make it fun, make it social, go and join a sports and etc. But always be selfish and dedicate 30 minutes to yourself at least 3 times a week, to exercise. We can do it. We all can. It doesn't matter if we're a single parent with 5 kids or married with 3 kids. 30 minutes of your time, anybody can do. It's manageable. It's doable.
Yeah.
It's doable. And people tend to do it when it's too late. Let's not wait when it's too late. Let's not wait until you have diabetes to start doing it, or you have, an injury and etc. Let's do it now. There's no other way.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Respect that. Yo, I don't know. We have to do a part 2 at least a part 2, part 3, because that time just flew by. There, I just wanted to keep talking. I thoroughly enjoyed that one, guys. Thank you, Dave, for taking your time. More than 30 minutes today to just talk with us, share some of your knowledge. But no, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Rising Adults, hope you appreciated that one, and look out for more in the future. Till next time, Julien. The Rising Adults, and we rising up. Alright, dude, thanks, man.
Later, Dave.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. If you made it to the end of this video, you're awesome. Don't forget to hit like, because you obviously did if you made it this far. And hit subscribe so you don't miss out on anything else. See you next time.